So, fellow Facebook buddy Jim Griffiths had replied to when I'd shared the youth of today will never know our struggle, and it's the reminder for those old enough to remember tape decks. And I know for the younger team they'll be like, well, I can't relate to that. It's all digital. And by the way, it has its flaws. If you notice, when you transfer from drive to drive, it deteriorates quite significantly. But and people could say, but that's just down to poor IT management. Yeah, well, if you're around long enough, you notice that that's not strictly true. But getting back to this, it reminds you of the times. It was, honestly, you've heard it intergenerationally. People before you will have said that the music was better. But I will say that for me, as an fairly early Gen Xer, for example, the term transition from 8-track to tape deck to tapes, yeah. Although I'll have to say that many of the 8-tracks at the time, and you need to type that in, they're big muckle things, huge things, really, seriously, when you think about it, in comparison to what you see before you. But the tunes they had on them at that time were spectacular. And so and it would be the 70s into the 80s. The tape deck, you used to, like, for example, you couldn't record over a tape, but you took a wee bit plastic off and blah blah blah, and then you could record. I mean, it was early adopters of being able to record data, because that's what it was. But for many where they were listening at the time, because that was a treasured possession, the tape deck, that what you see before you was treasured by many, because something that they liked that didn't have the radio and the adverts and the whatever else behind, that they could relate to, was well worth saving, yeah? And so Jim had put this, and it's true. The efforts you would go to be able to save and salvage that data in the form, in this instance, of tunes that you could relate to without the background. Yeah, that's fair. And I'll speak to you soon.